now, and I'll do a screen share. We'll get on with the letters now. Okay, now can you see the screen now? Can you see the files? Yeah. Somebody type me a yes if you can see it. Yes. Okay, let's get on with it then. Mr Weir. So we've spoken about this before. I'll go into it again. There's an excellent video a couple of days ago by Swoosh. I shared it, but I deleted it because Dr. J said that you've seen it. But you know, what he said was perfectly true. We go to the task first, right? That's the first thing. Go to the task, find out what exactly we've got to do. So let's take a look. Where is the task? Oh, it's not here. Okay, that's not so good. So, well, those case notes don't seem to be too complete. Can anybody tell me what the task is? Is it a referral? Presumes it doesn't say anything about it being a discharge. Is it making any request? Well, no task, so can't comment. Anyway, so we've got first one, Dr. Sam. I can see you here. Done. This one's yours, I think, Dr. Samet. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm referring Mr. Weir, well, that should be with the capital. His features are suggestive of MS, for assessment for imaging, MRI. Okay, that's good. That's good. You can use referring if you want, but I mean, I would make it a request because that's what you are asking. But again, I don't know. I haven't seen the full case notes, so I don't know what the task is asking you to do exactly. Sometimes it asks you to update a doctor. Sometimes it asks you to discharge, refer, make a request, etc. Ask them to do certain tasks. So it's always good to be clear what exactly what it says in the task and what the plan says as well. Because referral in itself, referring them, but you want them to do something, or what is it you want them to do? That needs to be clear in the introduction. Okay, so that's not good. So, sorry, that's not bad. I mean, that's not bad. Okay, in terms of his medical history, now, so usually for your paragraph, the advice is to mention the name of the patient, and every subsequent reference can be with a pronoun. Yeah, so I probably do in terms of Mr. Weir's medical history. He has been suffering from depression since 2012, which is taking Zoloft. Now, that's good. We've got present perfect continuous there, okay, with the adverb since, so that's quite good. Now, why should we please note that he's a smoker? Is this particularly relevant for his depression or a neurology? Because it seems kind of like a throwaway sentence. By the way, please note he's a smoker. Is that so important? I mean, if it was about if he was being referred for lung cancer, and you say, oh, by the way, he's a smoker, or if he had asthma, and you said, oh, by the way, he's a smoker, that would be pertinent. But so he smokes, overweight, depressed, no exercise. So does it really matter if he's a smoker? Possibly in terms of his general lifestyle, but the smoking's only one part of it. I mean, from what these case notes seem to say, it's not just that, it's also his diet needs some attention, he doesn't exercise, he doesn't do any relaxation, so he's depressed and tired. So the smoking might be related to it because, he's not exercising, blah, 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 and his diet's not so good. So I don't know if just including this on its own without any context, if that is really good. I mean, you know, without some kind of context or correlation to why this is here, it seems a little bit out of place, if you see my point. Anyway, we'll continue. Initially, Mr. Weir sent to me for a routine checkup. Don't forget your articles. Complaining, feeling depressed and tired. Apart from being slightly overweight, his examiners was unremarkable. This book testing with the profile order. Okay. General okay, yeah, so that's not bad. So on review after 1 week, he complained of weakness in his left leg. In addition to tiredness, tests revealed increased blood cholesterol levels with decreased all blood cells. Can we say decreased all blood cells? Decreased what? What's this? Somebody's complaining he can't hear me. Well, everybody else can. It must be your settings. You have to go to the bottom and make sure you've chosen the right speakers. Okay. So must be your settings if you can't hear anything. Okay. So decreased all blood cells. Now that's what I'm talking about. So we've got increased levels of cholesterol, but decreased what? What has decreased? I'm not quite, it's not so clear from that what has decreased. We know what's increased, but what has decreased exactly? So that's not very clear in terms of that. Therefore, he was advised to make some changes in his lifestyle, such as quitting smoking, losing his weight. Well, maybe not all of his weight, losing some weight, perhaps not losing all. Referring weight exercise programs and decreasing saturated or decreasing consumption of saturated fat and decreasing his consumption. I would probably reword that. Okay, so that's not bad. That's what we're talking about. So you've got this here. Please note he's a smoker, but what's the context of that? And you mention it here. Now, I would have, to make perfect sense, right? To make this letter, you know, show logic and perfect sense, I would have put something about the lifestyle, right? I would have put more of the lifestyle here because that is pertinent, right? Sorry. So, you know, if we look at it, the case notes in general, he doesn't exercise, he feels stressed, he's a bit fat, he smokes. So this doesn't seem or read like a very healthy individual. Yeah. So mentioning more of a lifestyle at first sets up the rest of the letter. Yeah. If you see what I'm saying. So, you know, because right, again, I say this often, you're telling a story. You are framing a narrative. Okay. So for this particular one here, and you know, every letter is different for sure. But for this one here, if you made more of the background in the medical and social history, for your information regarding his social history, he's overweight, you know, smokes, he doesn't exercise, like he's a bit of a fatty. Okay, that sets up the rest of the story. And we can see, aha, this makes perfect sense now. We can see why, yeah? So that's just something to think about, okay? Because you don't mention anything about lifestyle until we get down to this paragraph here. So, oh, what's his lifestyle got to do with anything? You know, so you didn't say anything about it, except he's a smoker. We come down here and then we find you talking about making lifestyle changes. So this should have been mentioned a bit sooner, and it would have made more sense. Okay, today he reports experiencing some mood swings within the last month, with 2 episodes of short-term blackouts. Moreover, he had a tingling sensation in his hand, also sharp sensations on his both legs, on both his legs is probably better. On both his legs were observed, examination, reduced the patellar reflex. I would appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, apart from, so that, you know, the grammar's good here, the vocabulary is good. Sarah comments here, yeah, the physical inaction, you know, the smoking, eating lots of fatty foods, not exercising, etc., that sets up the kind of the rest of a narrative of a story. Yeah. So if you'd have made more of that in paragraph 2, please, you know, regarding his history, kind of smokes like he's a fatty, blah, 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 blah. When we come down here, we can say, oh, right, I can see now. This is, you know, so it's all about having a logical flow, making connections. Now, I know most of you are not aiming for an A, though I think you should. But still, you know, trying to write the best letter that you can, I would always advise it. So anyway, that's not bad. Again, the only thing that I would change possibly is make more of the lifestyle in paragraph 2. Okay, moving on. Dr. Mangera or however you pronounce that. I've probably pronounced it wrong. Don't think he's here, or she, he, I don't think they are here now. Okay, but we'll continue here. So I'm right now, what I said about the previous one, about the reason for writing, yeah? I'm writing to refer, etc. Well, here, request, because you want, now, again, those case notes were not complete. I couldn't see the task and I couldn't see all of it, but essentially you are asking someone to do something, yeah? And requesting, can you give this guy an assessment and possible MRI? Yeah, but well, that's what it says, a letter of referral, but what else does it say in the plan? You know, you are still requesting someone to do something. Give this guy an MRI. So request, that's a perfectly good verb. You can do that. Writing to request an assessment, and now we don't need an article after possible, right? And a possible MRI scan. So I would put the article here, an assessment and a possible, or simply a possible MRI scan for Mr. Michael. Now, we don't use the first name if it's an adult, right? If 1970, so he's clearly an adult. If it's now the convention, you might have seen this. If it's a child, if it's a young, very young person, then you can use Master Michael, or if it's a kid, you can just use the first name up to about 16, maybe. Then after 16, if it's a girl, you can call her Miss. Calling boys Mr. from 16, we usually would probably make it Master, or simply give their full name. So we wouldn't use it here, Mr. Michael. We'd make it Mr. Weir. Okay, so that's what we would do regarding that. Mr. Weir. And signs and symptoms are suggestive of probable. Now, is it probable or possible? Because those two words don't mean the same thing. If it's possible, it means it could be. If it's probable, it means it probably is. So you've got to be careful there, how you use those. Okay, now, right. Regarding his medical and social history, Mr. Weir is a smoker and is overweight. I would have also have mentioned eating shit and not exercising, etc. Yeah, make the most of that lifestyle, because that sets the scene and explains quite a lot as we move farther down into a letter. Okay. Right. Now he has. So we've got. He has a history of depression for which he takes. Now, what verb should we use instead of he takes? Now he takes present simple, but since 2012. So what verb form should we use instead of present simple? Anybody tell me? What verb form should we use with since, the adverb since? Do we use the present simple with since? Anybody? Anybody tell me? Present perfect continuous, has been taking. That's the one. Because it's ongoing. He hasn't stopped. Yeah. Present perfect continuous. That's a verb form I would use using that adverb since. Right. So he started taking it in 2012. He's taking it now, and it's possible he may well continue taking it in the future. So that's why we use present perfect continuous now. Okay. Mr. Weir initially presented with a complaint of tired. Now, tired is an adjective. So, tired what? Of feeling tired or tiredness? So, that needs to change. Of tiredness, stressed. Now, what I would probably do to maintain the parallelity of the structure, I would make it feeling tired, feeling stressed, and sluggish. So that is better. Thus, few blood tests. Why is it few? A few, some, I think you meet some, or simply just say blood tests were ordered. There's no need for a quantifier. You can say few, but we only use that if it's a small amount. Few blood tests were ordered, or if it's more than one, we could say some blood tests were ordered. Yeah, or simply just blood tests in general were ordered. We don't really have to say how many tests. Okay, ordered. So thus blood tests were ordered and pending review. What? Where's it? So what are pending? What is pending? So are pending review. Who's pending? What? The blood test results are pending. That's not very clear as to what is going on in that sentence. So on a subsequent visit, he had reported. Why are we using past perfect? So, and when exactly? When is this? When is the date? What a visit? Is it a week after, a day after, a year after? I would put the dates if possible. He had reported. Well, why are we using that? We wouldn't. Right? Can anybody tell me why we wouldn't use past perfect? Past perfect. Why wouldn't we use it there? What do we use past perfect for? Anybody? Anybody? Somebody? Past perfect. What's it for? Why wouldn't I use it there? I would use the simple past. You usually use past perfect when you've got two actions. He was reported. Why would it be passive? He was reported. That's passive. He reported. Yeah. Present simple. So in the past, on this visit, which is in the past, at that time, in the past, he reported in the past a weakness in his left leg. So we don't need we don't need past perfect, simple past. on the subsequent visit in the past, he reported in the past a weakness in his left leg, along with the previous symptoms. His blood results show hypercholesterolemia with decreased LWBC. Okay. Now, I've made this point before, but I think it's worth making again. Abbreviations, it's usually a good idea to spell them out first time. If you're only going to use them once, okay, that might be okay. I mean, you know, everybody knows what MRI is, so we don't really need to spell out that. Some things it can be good to spell out instead of simply using abbreviations for. It depends how many times you're going to be using it. So if you're going to be using it multiple times, usually the convention is to spell it out first, then use abbreviations for the subsequent usages. Okay. Well, examinations, blood pressure, therefore was advised to do exercise, decrease uptake. Uptake, and you mean intake, you mean, or in other words, to stop eating fatty foods. To decrease, so decrease his intake, not uptake. That's right, fat. And so, right, why don't we have any commas here? We've got therefore it was saturated fat. You could put one there. Stop smoking, and put and for the final one. And to decrease or reduce his weight. That's better than decrease. And to reduce his weight and cholesterol level. Okay, so that's how I would rephrase that sentence, right? So put your comma there, because fat and smoking are different things. Put your comma there, and because it's the final one in your list, and because both of these are subject to the same verb, they both need to be reduced, you can put and in front of those two. Okay, so that's not bad. Today, Mr. Weir presented with complaints of dizziness, stressed, feeling, now, right. Well, this is a noun, right? This is a verb. So we need to make these match and parallel, okay? With complaints of dizziness, stress, or feeling stressed, I would make it stress to make it a parallel structure. Then with complaints of dizziness, stress, and now unstable moods. Mood instability, maybe. Okay, that's not too bad. I'll let that go, but I would definitely change that. Dizziness, stress, and unstable moods. Moreover, he also reported here, again, past perfect. So I wouldn't use past perfect because I know it happened in the past, but it's not that far back. It's, you know, it's on the same day. Yeah. So you usually use past perfect to be farther back in time, but this is on the same day. So we don't, you know, there's no real need for past perfect. The simple past would be perfectly fine. Yeah. Moreover, he also reported reported a tingling sensation because it's a noun phrase. Sensation is a noun and tingling is strictly speaking, it's a verb, but it's acting as a gerund here to modify this noun. Anyway, it's a noun phrase, so we need an article. Reported the tingling sensation in his hands, which left angle to themselves. Blackouts. Examination revealed. Nominalization, that's when you put a noun at the beginning of a sentence. Now, you usually only do that in short form kind of text like a memo, in bullet points, a resume. If you think of a resume, you know, examined, organized, you know, So examination, it's a noun, you know, so I put an article. His examination, an examination, you know, so yeah, I've a pronoun or an article. His examination revealed loss of sensation in his both hands, not his both hands, in both his hands. Decreased patella reflex DCT scan. Right, why wouldn't we put a definite article in front of CT scan? I'm asking you now, why would we not use a definite article? Anybody tell me? Type in the chat. Why wouldn't we use a definite article? Anybody got any ideas? Why wouldn't we really use a definite article here? Why would we not? You know what you do with articles? The first time. Very good, sir. Yes, the first time. So so one, it's you're introducing this, so it's the first usage, right? Indefinite a, and also because it's a singular, you only want one. So a CAT scan of the head, run by spinal result to determine the cause. To determine the cause, presumably, of the complaint. Okay, in view of the above, my provisional diagnosis. Suggestive, probable. This is what I was talking about. Possible. Provisional means a tentative, means an initial diagnosis. So a possible, but a probable means it's quite likely to be so. So I'd be a little bit careful. Multiple sclerosis, which needs consultation. What the sclerosis needs a consultation? You mean, well, he needs a consultation. The MS needs treatment, not consultation. He needs assessment. He needs consultation. His condition requires treatment. So you've got to watch how you phrase this. Therefore, I would be grateful if you could do further neurological assessment and management of this condition. You could do it. Now, okay. Now, do, it's a verb, yeah. Auxiliary verb, but it's a bit informal. So if you could, conduct maybe is better. It's a more formal verb. I think it's, because like do is very informal. Yeah, right, you know, you do your homework, you do the dishes, you conduct assessment. That's better, I think. Undertake is also a very good verb. So, not too bad. There's a few things there. Dr. Mangara, they can have a look at this video later. I don't think they're here in person. Don't think so. Okay. Let's have a look, see what we've got next. Joseph, right. Let's have a look at what he has here. Writing to request a full neurological assessment, magnetic imaging, CDS scan, Mr Weir. Very good introduction. That's how it's done, right? You want them to do something, so you're asking them. So in other words, instead of ask, you're, you know, a formal verb, you're making a request. And you see how he spelt it out at first, then put the abbreviation, then he's got a relative clause. Someone's asking, how can we watch this video again later? Well, because I'll probably put it on YouTube and send you a link. That's what I usually do. If you want to see it again later, you don't have to. Anyway, that introduction is very good, right? Note, it doesn't use that cliched, your further management would be highly appreciated, which is rubbish. Don't use it. Everybody does. It's a cliche. It's a memorized phrase. Don't use it. This is better. Okay, excellent introduction. Okay, now medical history. Now Joseph, again, okay, the smoker's good, but still, you know, I think we need to make, I mean, so, right, the same as the previous one, they mention this like stuff he does, but okay, this is the first time, this is like news to us. So I think for this particular one, as I mentioned, paragraph 2, I would have put, you know, he's lazy, fat, he smokes, blah, 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 therefore, and then put the story, okay? Because here, we don't hear anything about it, and then, he's got to do, you know, etc. So I would have put that in paragraph 2. Anyway, general checkup, feeling tired, stressed and lazy, between weakness, left leg, investigation order, therefore I request him to decrease that. His decreases diary, saturated fat, intake, incorporate exercise, and stop smoking. That's good. Today's visit, Mr. Weir complained that these offending attachments which have sustained or were sustained possibly is better instead of present perfect, which were sustained, because again, it's, you know, visiting today. Moreover, reported tingling in his hands or a tingling in his hands with a continuation of left leg weakness, loss of sensation on the left and right hands. Well, or, I don't know if you say on, probably it's like in, you know. If I don't know who were requested, social history, view the above. Okay. So that's not bad, but again, as Bindi says, like here in the chat box, I think, you know, we should have made more of the lifestyle, because that's quite, you know, for some conditions, lots of conditions these days are lifestyle related and created. Yeah, so I think we should have made a little bit more, put it in paragraph 2. Anyway, apart from that, not too bad. But take note of the introduction. That's quite good. Okay. Dr. Sharon, or Sharan, I don't know how you say that. No idea. Maybe I pronounced it wrong. Maybe not. We'll see. So, Michael Weir, and you keep spelling Michael wrong. It's usually A-E-A-L. That's why it does that. And also, right, we don't need this period after Weir. Don't need this period, right? E2, swoosh, we've posted this stuff quite a few times in the channel, and they all say, you know, you only put a period if it's an abbreviation such as captain, admiral, etc. So we don't need it. Got the question here, Mary. Regarding his medical history, right, okay. I would put some introductory phrase, because if you simply drop a sentence in without saying, regarding his medical history, or for your information, please note that, or it is worth mentioning Mr. Weir's history, without some introductory phrase, it's just a sentence. It's like it's come out of nowhere. Where's it come from? How does it logically fit in? Yeah, so you need to have what is called a gambit, an introductory phrase to introduce a sentence, sorry, a paragraph, I should say. So here, you know, I am writing to request, okay, so we know why this sentence or paragraph is there. Here we have a date and Mr. Weir presented, okay, but this one here is just, oh, he's been a smoker, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. So, you know, putting something to connect that shows what it is. Connect, you know, it's all about making a logic. I mean, this comes down to, in terms of layout, logical construction. You know, because essentially it's an English test. It's an English test, you know, and they want you to write a letter that has a logical flow, because one of the criteria for assessing whether a person is a advanced user of English, or indeed of any language, is the idea to logically develop or construct an argument. Now, I know this is not an argument as such, but still you're telling a story. So you have to be able to, you know, to create a narrative sense. This leads to this, which is connected to this, which is connected to this. So there's a flow instead of just random sentence, random sentence, random a sentence. That's what you want to avoid. Okay, so I would put something here, you know, regarding his blah, 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 etc. And has a depression, and also what's this subject verb? What is this? A symptoms. That needs to change too. So, if you understand, Mr. Weir is going to go feature. So, okay, so that introduction is good, apart from we don't need a period, right? Don't need it. But here I would put some introductory expression or phrasing, and subject verb, a symptoms, singular and plural. That needs to change. Mr. Weir presented with a, you've done it again. Subject verb, a complaints. No point in losing, well, not losing, but no point in not gaining marks and making very simple grammatical mistakes. That's no good. And this is one of the very basic ones, subject verb agreement. So with a complaint or complaining of, if you make it a continuous verb, then you can avoid using articles. So just say, Mr. Weir presented complaining of feeling tired, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I advised him to review what? Review, you advised him to review what? How's he going to review himself? That doesn't make sense. I would say an MRI investigation. I advise him to review, well, right, so we've got subject, verb, object, indirect. So we've got subject, verb, object, indirect object is him, but review what? What are you advising him to review? And you don't review with something, to what? And so, anyway, no idea what that is talking about, no idea what that means, and we don't need a comma after since anyway. His systemic examination were normal. Subject verb. Dr. Sharon, right, watch this. You've like made 4 subject verb agreement mistakes in what? 2 sentences. So that needs to be addressed, okay? So a complaint of, or simply make it complaining of, okay, has a depression and symptoms, or has symptoms of depression. So again, if you write it like that, all right, hang on, and has symptoms of depression, so we don't need any articles there. And if you do it like this here, make it a verb, complaining of, feeling, etc. Okay, so if you're not so clear about the articles, do it like that. Okay, so examination where it should be examination was, because it's singular. I advise him to review, and I say I'm not really so clear who's reviewing what, or doing how, where, or why. So I'd rephrase that. On review, visit, on review, or on a, so this is a noun phrase. So what do we need if we have a noun? What do we do? What do we need in front of a noun? Somebody, can you tell me, what do we need in front of a noun? An article or a pronoun, yes. So either on a review visit or a subsequent review visit or on his review, but we need something, right? Pronoun, article. A week later, Mr. Weir complained of weakness in left leg. Again, what do we need in front of here? The same. Pronoun, article. Addition to persistence of previous to the persistence of or persistent. So right, a persistence, it's a noun. A persistence of. So either the persistence of or in addition to persistent previous symptoms. So again, if you're not so good with articles, change the form, you know, in addition to, I'll just type this out for you, persistent previous symptoms, and you can get away with not using articles there. Okay. His blood reports revealed low counts of what? Low hemoglobin and high cholesterol. Furthermore, advise him to modify his lifestyle, monitor his general health, and review. Well, he's not reviewing. He's not reviewing. You are reviewing. So either to come back for a review, etc., because he's not reviewing anything. You are. Okay. Mr. Weir complaints. Complaints, why is it third person S? Shouldn't it be, why is it third person S? Why is it a, yeah? Why is it a noun? Why is it a plural noun? Complaint. Shouldn't it be complains or complained of? Mr. Weir complained of dizziness. Make it past tense. Two is blackouts. A subject verb. Again, watch that doc. It's going to cost you. And feeling stressed, despite having a proper diet, regular exercise, he developed constipation, or he has developed. I would probably make it present perfect there, because it's unclear exactly when. Yeah, it's only when it's clear from a time that we can use the present simple. I'm not sure when his constipation developed, so because it's indefinite, uncertain time, I would make it present perfect. Okay, the constipation, breathless. Well, he was breathless. It's an adjective to breathlessness, and feeling short of energy or a lack of energy is better, I think. Lack of energy. An examination. Effects were noted. If you're going to make it passive, right? How do we make passive? Somebody tell me. How do we make it? What's the structure for passive? What's the structure for passive? Well, be plus past participle or verb free. Okay, so if it's noted, we need a form of be. Am, is, was, were, etc. Were noted. On examination, diminished left patella reflexes were noted. And the loss of, because it's a specific thing, it's the loss of something else. So I put a definite article there. And meanwhile, what? You mean as a consequence or subsequently? Meanwhile means at the same time. So I would say, either consequently as a consequence of, or subsequently, after this, I have planned to order a head and lumbar spinal because it's a noun. I plan to order head and... why would you say I have planned? Wouldn't you make an order and say I ordered, I have ordered? Why have you planned? Why not simply make an order? And queries. So lots of grammar needs some attention there. I don't want to be overly harsh, but you need to know what your mistakes are. Okay, so subject, verb, and articles. I would pay attention to these two things first. Okay, now I'm going to have to go. I haven't got a lot of time. There's a couple of letters. Dr. Hussain, what's this? Dr. Wall, Dr. Weir. I haven't got time. I've got to get downstairs into school. So I'll put these 4 in easy class. Might have time for a session Friday. I was going to do one tomorrow, but I'm booked up all day now, and I've got to go downstairs to school to sort out some administrative issues. So no more time for today. So I'll see you on Friday. Those who haven't had the letters corrected, I'll try and do it on Friday. If you need personal, individual correction, that can be arranged. How it works here is that, you know, just being a member of EasyClass, all that means is that your letters get put into a pool, you know, and Joseph, he chooses them based on who's been assessed before or not, and he sends them to me. So that's how it works. If you want individual attention, you can try the premium service, the advertisement of which will be in the group. So I'm going to put these 4 letters in to Easy Class, and I'll save this video, and I'll probably post the link on Patreon and a bit later. Speaking, we're going to be doing speaking as well, possibly on Friday, because Friday is empty for me so far. Thursday, I'm busy from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. So I haven't got time for anything. And I've got admin and students for the next 4 hours. So I haven't got time. Might be on Friday, but I'd certainly get working on your writing, those who haven't, because you've only got just over a week left. Okay, so put these in Easy Class. I'll save the video and I'll share the link around a bit later on. Okay, so I'll stop this now and I'll see you later. Okay.